Crank 'em up.
Welcome to episode 20, everybody. Chasin Tails Podcast. We got a great one today. A little Gold Cup preview with three of the top drivers in the series, H1 Unlimited. What do you guys think? Who? First off, before anyone comes on, who do you think is going to win the Gold Cup in a couple weeks?
Who's going to win or who's going to mess up?
That might be.
I don't know.
I
think it all depends on that fighting for lanes, that 5-minute warm up. I think it comes out to who has the best strategy. I know at San Diego, it's a big, fast course. A faster boat can do a lot there, but I also think that 5-minute warm up is definitely going to come into play and have a major role in the outcome of the race. So I don't know. It's hard to say. Strong boys are fast. Madison's fast. You got Jamie always getting the inside. Bucket list. They're looking for a win. It's gonna come down to
one of those too close to call. We got to see some heat racing out there before we start making those decisions. But
yeah, let's go.
Them boys don't ever show their cards in a heat race, especially when it comes to fighting for lanes.
Right. Let's go live right before the final.
There we go.
And then I'll pick.
So, yeah, we got them all in the waiting room. Let's go ahead and bring these guys on. We got Corey Peabody, J. Michael Kelly, and Jamie Nielsen for you. What's up,
guys?
Hey, what's happening?
How we doing?
Is that a cutout of Corey and J. Michael Kelly?
Yep.
Y'all doing too much over there.
I'm going to need one of those.
Bob's going to put it up on his ceiling.
Bad. So what's going on, guys? You guys are coming down to your final race, San Diego, the Gold Cup. So let's start with Corey. Yeah, let's start with Corey. How are you feeling about it?
Good. We're just about ready here. And we'll get the boats on the road here in the next week and a half or so and get down there and see what we can do. It's going to be a big one. It's for the Gold Cup, so I'm looking forward to getting to compete with it, with everyone.
All right. What about you, J. Michael?
Yeah, no, I mean, always excited to go race for the Gold Cup. Excited to go to San Diego. It's always a treat to be in San Diego. Just Gold Cup's a huge race to race for, and just super excited, and just looking forward to it.
All right, and Jamie, Mr. Lane 1 Nielsen, how about you?
It's never a bad trip to San Diego, really. It's one of my favorite places to go race. Team's working really hard in the shop on the boat. They'll be ready to hit the road on time, and we'll get down there and hopefully have a really competitive piece. So, just going to keep swinging, keep giving those guys everything they got. And it's always a huge honor to get a chance to race for the Gold Cup. So looking forward to it.
Sure, that's exciting. What do you guys think about it being at San Diego? I believe this is the first time. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously it was at Detroit for a long time, then Tri-Cities, Seattle. What about this one being in San Diego? Is it any different? How's the fans there? How do you think they're going to be for the Gold Cup? We'll start with you, Jake.
I think it's going to be a good turnout. The Gold Cup always adds a little bit of, prestige or whatever you want to say to it. But, for us as drivers, I mean, every race is really important to us, our teams, our sponsors. I don't mean to discount the Gold Cup at all, but it's not going to make me want to win any more or less than I usually do. So we'll go out there, give it our all. And, like I said, it's just a huge honor to get a chance to race for that trophy.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely. Every race matters. Every race you want to win, especially when you guys got a high points championship you're going after. And so, Corey, as far as the race course there, you obviously won the Gold Cup in Guntersville. What's the race course like in San Diego, speed-wise? What are you going to have to do to prepare your boat differently than previous Gold Cup races?
Well, it's saltwater, so there's a lot of things that are different because we don't want to take any water into the engine. So preparing the boats for that is the big thing, and just staying clean and away from as much spray as you can so you don't get a bunch of salt down in your engine. But we're taking those steps and doing that right now on both boats, and we'll go down there and have some fun. I mean, it's a good time. I hear that they sold out on the RV spots down there, so that's what I hear. I don't know if it's 100% true, but that's the rumor I heard, and that's great for them. So get down there and run and try and get in that final and win the whole thing. So, and that's always the goal. And like Jamie said, every race is important, but having the Gold Cup and salt is kind of touchy, but that's where it is, and we all got the same course, and we all got the same thing in mind, and that's to win. So go down there and do what we can.
There you go. Now, J. Mike, I'd say you're one of the best at flying an unlimited hydroplane, and you do a good job with any boat you get in, but what would you say the saltwater faces challenges for flying the boat, for fighting for lanes, going slower? Does it add any drag to the boat, especially fighting for lanes? Obviously, fans want to know how that's going to go.
Yeah, no, it definitely being in saltwater is going to make it a little bit more challenging to go fight for those inside lanes. Our strategies may change a little bit more there, but it is a Gold Cup, so every team's going there to try to win the Gold Cup, and so it might get a little dicey out there. But as far as San Diego, that course, you seem to be able to carry the boat a lot better there. The water conditions are 10 times better than anywhere else, really, other than Alabama when the wind's not blowing and stuff. But so it's just basically you're just gonna have to figure out the strategy and see what you can do with what you got and the conditions and stuff.
There you go. Now we just talked
Having
about
those saltwater scoops is tough.
Oh yeah.
The big saltwater
Oh yeah.
scoop.
Just a bunch of drag.
Yeah,
You
it
got-
changes
you got to put your-
the whole boat.
You got to put your big boy arms on to lift the dang thing too.
Yeah, they'd probably have to lift a crane and get me out the escape hatch. I ain't lifting that thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy heavy.
It's wild.
Do those things make the boats flighty or less flighty, like compared to the smaller ones, or in terms of like boat ride? Do you not feel it
Saltwater
as much?
scoop.
Yeah.
It changes the boat ride a lot. It changes like for my boat, it blows out the ass end. You got all that weight on top of way up there, so it changes the whole ride. But you can adjust things on it to help it. But when having 40 to 60 pounds up on top that high, it changes the attitude a lot. And it's what it is, but you got to take care of the equipment that's behind that. So they're necessary.
Now, when you say you make changes, a lot of the limited hydroplanes, we would move weight around. Assuming in unlimiteds with the rear wing, you add downforce back there, or do you move weight around as well?
You change the rear wing, and that helps. So you just change that setup and kind of ease into it until it feels right. So you can feel it in the corner, kind of hobby horsing, just blowing out the ass end and stuff like that. So get that figured out, and off you go.
There you go. So I think one of the fans' questions was, are you guys going to fight for lanes before the final or just wait till the final?
You'll find out. Talk to us Sunday night.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we just said before we came on live. We're like, all right, who's going to be the winner? I don't know. We're going to have to figure out on Sunday. We can't pick this one.
So
I think there will be more drama or less drama than the last race.
I think there's always going to be drama. I don't think there's any way around it. I mean, there's always going to be somebody that's not happy.
Yeah, I got pretty out of hand with all the Facebook warriors after the last race.
What it is.
You just got to kind of ignore some of that stuff. I mean, we're out there racing and doing the best we can, and just trying to put ourselves in the situation to, try to win a race.
Yeah. 100%. So what are your guys', you have any pre-race rituals that you do, like little things that you notice, like when you get antsy before a race, do you do something here or there?
I mean, I definitely have a few, but I'll keep most of them to myself. But I mean, one of my unique things is I grew up racing outboards, and you always get in the boat from the left side because that's the side that's cut out, and that's something I still do to this day. Whatever way the boat's at the dock, I always like to get in the boat from the left side, just out of habit, and it's just become kind of a thing of mine.
There you go.
Nice. That's interesting. I always get in from the right. A little bit different, but the same ritual.
Yeah, I know
the outboard background.
Yeah, sharing a truck with Corey all the time. We sit in there and we're usually try to chill out before we go out and run, and we'll look at each other and both be like, "Man, I hate this part." 'Cause it's nerve wracking. I mean, there's a lot of pressure and a lot of strategy that goes into it. So it's but once you get out there, kind of all that kind of goes out the window.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm with Mike in the truck, and it's kind of there's some silence there for a few minutes where we're just sitting there going through our thoughts and not saying anything, and then when our boats start going in the water, it's be safe, do this, do that, and uh, go out. But when I'm in the boat, I do the same routine every time on how we strap me in. I mean, it's the same. Everything, it's the exact same every single time. And then at 6 minutes, I reach up and grab the guy's hands. They say their thing, and then we shut the lid and we do our whole thing, and then off we go. But so just always do the same thing, so we never forget a step. Then you forget something big, and then it's bad. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I
What do
think
you guys? Or go ahead, Brandon.
go ahead, Kyle. You got it. Your turn.
With obviously with San Diego not running last year, what do you guys? How do you guys feel about it coming back this year? Obviously in a big way with it hosting the Gold Cup. I think a lot of people were pretty upset to see that race site lose the race last year and not have a race. What are your guys'? You guys have all driven there before, right?
Yeah, I love it. I love going to San Diego, and was really disappointed not to get to go there last year. So having it back is great. It's great for not only the series as a whole, but for me personally, because it's one of my favorite trips of the summer. So, and like Mike said, it's one of the greatest race courses around. So racing there is always really enjoyable. Doesn't usually doesn't beat you up too bad unless the wind blows real hard.
Yeah, I think it's a race that it kind of rewards the team at the end of the year. It's a fun place to go to. We always look forward to going there. I mean, it can be hard on the equipment, but to end the season there and nice weather, nice race course, just a really nice place to be, and some amazing fans. That it's something that we look forward to, and it's good to have it back this year. We did miss it, with not being able to be there. So I'm definitely looking forward to going back.
I've never met a person who said I don't want to see a palm tree. So going down there and palm trees everywhere, and just the good weather and the great atmosphere, and just hanging out. We stay at the hotel across the street, so we can just walk across, and the wives and the kids stay at the pool, and then they know we're gonna race. They just walk over and watch, and then go back and do their thing. So for us, it's great. Daryl letting us stay at the Paradise and just getting to hang out down there and enjoy it at the last race of the year. So having it back is always a good thing. It's races are sacred, and we don't want to lose any, and so anytime we can get a race back is a good thing. So it's great.
I've obviously never been out to that race, but it's one of those ones that going to Madison and some of the races where I do get to be around the H1 crowd. It's one that everybody speaks really highly of. Everybody's always super excited to go to it every year. Hopefully,
Walk down the beach, and then you'll come back. Walk down the beach, and you will.
It's definitely one I want to make my way out to in the next couple of years.
Brandon, bring the GP boat out.
We're trying. We're pushing on the owner, but he's selling his car dealership, and I guess that kind of takes precedence over a boat since it funds the team. We're open. If not this year, we'll do next year, because we're trying to push them to do the GP Challenge to end in San Diego. I think from obviously what you guys are saying on this podcast now is that's where it should end. We should do maybe Madison, Valleyfield, and then end out in San Diego, kind of mix both coasts. So we're pushing to try to continue that, which leads me into my other thing. Obviously, you guys are H1 drivers. Most of you are involved in the resurgence of H1 with the new group. How do you feel having the lower tier classes like Grand Prix and 350 being there as a part of your show? Does it help you guys as your growing process, or what would you like to see better out of those shows? Go ahead, Corey.
I think it's great. I think H1, GP, and 350 should be one group that goes to all these races and say, this is our show, this is what we want to do, and we lay it out as a group, Therefore, we know, because you go to these race sites and they do their best, they do what they can. But we as the racer know, okay, we need to put these boats here, these boats there, those boats there, because we're going to run H1, GP, then 350. So the cranes, everybody can have cranes, and because an H1 boat takes a lot of time with a crane versus a 350. An H1 can tie up a crane for an hour. It could, mess up the flow over there to keep heats going on the water. But I think we should be together. But as you guys know, it's hard when you get to like some of the 350 teams. The H1 races are so spread out. We go from Guntersville to Madison to Tri-Cities. That's a big haul for some of these underfunded teams. I mean, all the teams are underfunded for the most part.
Right.
And, it's how can we get those people, at least a core group that can put on a good show, and then you get your filler boats here and there. If you're on the East Coast, we get some filler boats that come down from the north and fill in, but we have the core group of the people who are funded well enough that they can travel. I think that's something that us as a group in the GP and 350 should get together, and the Unlimited, and have a serious conversation and say, we can do these, 350 guys, they can do this one, the core group, the GP core group can do it, and the Unlimited guys, and start from there. But, it has to be one conversation. It can't be one person talking to the race site and another person talking to the race site, because then you never know what's really going on, and your group doesn't know what's going on. So it has to be one, or it's going to be unsuccessful, in my view.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I mean, obviously, I was involved with trying to get HRL and GPA to work together for the past 4 or 5 years, and finally getting them to come to the same table and have the same outlook on what the future should be for Grand Prix has been probably the best thing that's happened to Grand Prix in the past 5-10 years, besides the resurgence of it completely. But I mean, that's what it is. You can't have different organizations trying to sell their product to the same race site, because there's always going to be who gets what. Why are they getting this? So I agree with you. If we could be under one banner, obviously you're going to provide a better show. A guaranteed show, I think, is the biggest thing that these race sites would love.
And there's a core group there that could do it in the 350 and in the GP that could provide enough boats to put on a great show. It's sitting down and having a conversation like this where everyone is on the same page versus phone call here and a phone call there. But I mean, everybody, I like to sit across from somebody and have a conversation versus an email, so we can all just get on the same page and say, this is what we're doing. And then one person goes to the race site and says, here's our show. This is what we want to do at your race site, and go from there.
Yeah. Sure.
So do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Well, I was gonna say, now that we got your webcam working, we can definitely have some face-to-face conversations to make this happen.
So we have some stats from Nick Kish. So I'm just going to read some stats, because we have people on here watching. You guys already know your own stats, so. But
Bobby's
all right. So let's see. J. Michael Kelly facts, and this is from Nick Kish, not me. So if they're wrong, it's not my fault. But I think he's usually pretty right about everything.
Well, I won't know.
All right.
J. Michael said them, they'd be a little bit more embellished, right?
So you are one of 18 drivers to have an Unlimited career span of 20 years or more. That's getting up there.
I don't think that's a fact you should have shared, man. You just showed his age.
Oh, he looks younger than most of us. Look at him. All right. Madison in 2024 was your 100th career race. I guess in Unlimited, because you're probably up to 10,000 in all the categories that you're generally run.
Possibly.
Right. Let's see. You're the 10th driver to reach 100 races, tied for the 10th of all-time victories at 17. You're tied with Chuck Thomas and Billy Schumacher. You have the 8th most career heat victories, 92. 10th behind Dean I can't even say his last name.
Chenoweth?
Yeah, there you go. Chenoweth. Your 4th all-time
Yeah, I don't think you should say that one.
Your fourth all-time career flips at 5 behind Dave Wilwalk and Chip Hanover at 8.
And Scotty Pierce at 6.
Yeah, we
There
were
was an 11-year span.
All right, now here's Corey's. Aside from Bill Brow, who won his only race at Tri-Cities, which was his first and only race, Corey Peabody has the best race win percentage in Tri-Cities at 75%. That's pretty good. Since joining Strong Racing, he has never lost in the Tri-Cities. Let's see. Your boat, it'll be its 99th race in San Diego. I don't know why he puts these in here. You're one of 3 active drivers to flip in Madison. The others being Dave Wilwalk and Eccles. Let's see. Oh, and then his last stat for you: you were one of the few drivers to not successfully find the course in Guntersville and Hydro Sim.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't even know where that was on Hydro Sim.
No, trust me. I think everyone gets lost on the course.
Yeah,
Hydro Sim.
I'm glad for Hydro Sim because I actually found it. I don't think I could have went there and actually found it. I mean, I did find the unlimited course and ran the wrong one, so probably
Bigger buoys.
Yep.
I
Jamie.
ran the unlimited course in San Diego with the 1 liter one time.
Oh shit, that's a long one.
That's one way to run out of
long
gas.
ways around. I was just so used to going all the way down.
Oh wow.
It happens.
All right. Now, Jamie.
Well, this will be pretty quick, I think.
You'll be racing in your 30th. Will be racing in his 30th race, still searching for his first final victory. He has 8 heat victories and 8 podiums. He has a knack for grabbing the inside in real life and on Hydro Sim. First career unlimited flip was in Tri-Cities in the boat that's currently the Bucket List Racing Hall from 2007 to 2021. Oh, you were signed by the Kansas City Royals minor league squad and out of Arizona for 1 season, and the Hall of Fame career in college. So you can play some baseball, huh?
Yeah, in a past life. I'm all washed up now.
What positions you play?
I was a middle infielder, so shortstop second, a little bit third.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Very cool.
I wasn't out there because I was good at fielding, though. I was out there because I could hit. So.
Nice.
So your current hull that you run is the 1993 T Plus 2-wing hull, later refitted to the standard hull in 2000, and fully refitted in the 2009 and 2025 hull. And then your backup boat is the Miss Budweiser T4 2-wing hull from 1994. Your highest finish in Gold Cup was in 2022 in Guntersville, 3rd place. All right.
So we got some work to do.
So that's enough of flipping stats, guys. Let's keep that to a minimum.
From that reading, I would say that Jamie needs to teach Corey how to do the Hydro Sim, and Corey needs to teach J. Michael how to drive at Tri-Cities, and J. Michael, you can help Corey at Madison. That's what I got out of that. We all can help each other here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So you guys had a new starting procedure this year. We already touched on it a little bit. How do you like it? And is there anything in this off season you would request changed, either for safety? I know that's been brought up over the times, or just change it to make a better show, since you guys are the ones in the seats. Obviously, you 3 are the best, I think, at getting lane 1. So we'd like to hear your opinion on that. We'll start with you, Jamie, Mr. Lane 1.
I mean, it really comes down to what the fans think, really. I mean, that's the most important thing, is if they're engaged and they can understand it and it's exciting to them, then I think it's a good thing. My biggess thing is just that, we're all on the same page. We're all racing under the same rules and doing the same thing. I like the current start rules just because it adds a lot more options for drivers. There's a lot more moves and counter moves that are available to us that keeps it exciting all the way until probably the 45-second mark. Whereas with the 80-mile-an-hour rule, It worked at first, but as the years went on, I think we all kind of figured it out to a point to where it turned into like a Le Mans start off the dock. And then we all knew where we needed to be at, say, 4 minutes to be on that magic mark. And after that, it was over. Like there was nothing you could do to try to get the inside once someone was on that mark. So I think the current rule at least keeps it exciting all the way up until, under a minute. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. But now, what you said, the 80-mile-an-hour rule and doing marks, I know a lot of people watch and love the Hydro Sim. Did you get those marks from Hydro Sim?
No, I got them the hard way. I got them the hard way from jumping the gun, being in the chute at way too early. It took a lot of practicing, but I think with all of us, as the years went on, we got a lot better at it. And I think, like when you look back to last year, there was a lot less penalties and guys jumping the gun or being late because we had years and years of our marks on those courses, and we knew exactly how long it would take to go this straightaway and that corner at 80 miles an hour. So kind of once we got it figured out, it took a lot of the drama out of the pre-start, I think.
Yeah. How about you, J. Mike?
Yeah, I think I like it. I know it can be a little bit confusing for like the fans and stuff that don't really know. They don't really know when we're starting all the time, but I think if you do understand, you kind of get two starts out of it. I kind of was wondering how long it would take before somebody was actually trolling going up for the start, and we found out at the last race.
That lower guy right there.
You guys
ruined it for us, Jamie.
You guys did it back east.
We're waiting.
Mike was doing it back east.
But
He was hiding.
it does give you options because like in the Seattle race, I found myself in a spot where I knew I couldn't win from that position. So I was like, well, my only option is I better get up there with Jamie and, I'll take my chances here. And it's scary when you do that because you got a lot of water coming up and put the fire out in your engine and all that stuff. So it can make it pretty challenging, but I think that's what makes it exciting. But yeah, it's just, there's a lot of strategy that goes into it. And, whether you have a good pit spot, it does matter. So there's things that we will probably need to look at and, that's what the off season will be for.
There you go. How about Corey? 10 boat lengths or 12, or what do you think?
5. That's all you need is 5.
5.
People don't like 5. You still get wet at 5. 5 is only 150 feet. It's not that far, but
it's not far at all.
It's not far at all. But everybody agreed on it in the beginning of the season. Every single team agreed on it, and so that's what it is. I think I had 5 in Seattle, but Jonathan didn't. I went over at 5. I mean, it sucks for Andrew, but I mean, we're racing, and it's unfortunate. But I like the starting procedure. They should probably move it to 7 boat lengths, and I think they're already in the works on doing that, honestly. So we'll see on that. I know they'll do it for San Diego at least because of the salt, but I like it. We were able to keep the total park on ground idle away until Seattle, but I mean, we all knew it was going to come eventually, and who was going to be the first one to do it. And I figured it would be Jamie because Jamie gets up there, and he did. I mean, he did his job to get up there and get it. But I like it. It gives if you can make it into the final, anybody can win because lane 1 is a huge advantage. And if you can get into lane 1, you have a shot. And with assigned lanes, I don't think that that's the case, with unlimited. It's different than limited. These boats are completely different than GPs, completely different than 350s and 1 liters and all that stuff. So, I think that being able to set your own destiny by the lane you choose, you might not win from one, but at least you got it. And, you had that opportunity, and when the assigned lane format, you don't have that. So
yeah, I agree. There's definitely a place for assigned lanes and a place where they shouldn't be, and I believe it highly that unlimited is not a place for them. And until you guys get to like 14 boats or something like that, maybe then it would work. But right now, I think it adds to it being able to fight for lanes. I think from like a fan's perspective watching it, it comes down to announcing. We say it all the time on Chasin Tails. If they can explain what's going on, it's easier. And I also think from being at a race and then watching on the live streams where it's missing more than it's missing at the race. At the race, you're seeing the whole course. Most fans can look around and be like, all right, I kind of understand what's going on. But on the live stream, you're only getting that one camera. So that's where it has to be explained more, even prior to the race, maybe having some infographics like they can cut here, they can do this, they can do that. That's, I think, moving forward. I think if they do that, then it's pretty cleared up. And like I said, if they go to 7 boat links, that answers a lot of the Facebook Warriors questions. And
Yeah.
I think it's
So
something they can build on.
okay, so I totally agree with all that. But so like even with if you were to go to a assigned format, like so if you're Brandon or you guys are in one heat, you're in lane one in the GP, what changes do you make when you're at the next heat, you're in lane five?
Mainly just propeller gear.
Okay, so that's exactly it.
That's
With
it.
unlimited, we don't have a ton of propellers, different sizes, pitches, and rates. Most teams are running the exact same propeller. Not all of them.
Okay.
Some of them have different propellers. So yeah, if you're in lane one, you can change the propeller, go up here, go up there, or a gearbox. The problem is we have 45 minutes in between a heat. Sometimes you don't have enough time. If you have two boats on one crane and they're both in the next heat, you're not going to have enough time to switch a gearbox. It takes too long to switch a gearbox. So it comes down to a time thing too. Now, like I said, there are teams out there that have different pitches and different rakes of propellers, but the majority do not. And that's it's not the team that does have that option. It's not their fault. I'm just saying that, with the cost of what these things cost, some teams don't have 7 or 8. Some teams don't have 5 propellers.
Yep.
They have a couple that they run. And so that's another thing to think about when you go to the assigned lane. You're not going to be able to make a change. So
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, it's a huge cost, financial cost, not just like financial like crazy huge. Something.
Yeah, you were telling me the other day the cost of engines and props and how long you can run a prop, and I was pretty thrown back by it.
It changes your attitude on it.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. I'm like, wow, what you guys spend on an engine, you could go buy a GP for. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then the props, I mean, you could buy a 2.5 stock for that prop. I mean, it's brand new 2.5 stock. I mean, it's just crazy the numbers that it costs to be able to run one of these boats. I don't know. Kudos to the owners for doing it, because I'm sure it's not an easy thing.
That's why there's 6. Because it costs a lot. It's a house every weekend. It feels like, So it's just, my hat's off to all the owners that do it, because it's insane.
Definitely takes good sponsors, which leads me into something else I want to talk about. That obviously I've done a lot of sponsorship sales in my day and learned a lot about how the activation works at these race sites. And Jamie, I gotta say, you guys pulling Mercury's coffee, not only to help your team succeed, what they're doing at the events for the fan engagement and those kinds of things. I mean, they took it next level. I think they are showing a lot of companies out there what H1 Unlimited can do for their company. Tell us about that partnership and how it started and what it's done for you as a driver.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. It's really impressive, I will say, what Scott and Shannon, along with the Mercury's people, were able to do, because that deal didn't get finalized. It was less than a month before the boat left to go back east. So in less than a month, they completely rebranded the entire team, completely repainted the boat, the truck, all the vinyl. The Mercury's group, they planned out all their activations, all their displays, got all their tents put together. They got, all their samples and everything shipped back east, shirts done, coats done, shoes. I mean, it's really impressive what they pulled together as quickly as they did. And it's been a lot of fun. I mean, they're not only a great sponsor and a huge support for our team, but they're actually, they're really great people and fun to go racing with and to get to know and build relationships with, and just the energy that they bring not only to our team but to the sport as a whole, I think is really positive and a really good thing. So really excited to see where things go and keep racing with them. Go back down to San Diego. I know some of the Mercury's people are from down there. They got a lot of connections down there, and they got some real big things planned for the San Diego race.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, like I said, it's definitely refreshing to see a brand that can utilize that. Obviously, you guys with Strong Racing have Bill Callahan with hopefully I pronounced that right, with Beacon Plumbing, Beacon Electric. A little bit different. He's out there. He loves the sport of boat racing, can promote his company, get more jobs from that way, but not as much as what he can do at the race like Mercury's doing with handing out coffees and that stuff. But how much has that relationship built with you guys? This is, I think, your second or third year with Strong Racing and Bill. How do you guys feel that relationship's going to continue to grow, and how much has it helped your team advance?
Good, Corey.
Yeah, he's coming back. He loves it.
Good.
I mean, he is so into it. You go to his office and it's nothing but boat racing stuff everywhere. So he's big time into it. He's a very kind of quiet behind the scenes guy. Doesn't like being in the limelight or anything. He wants to sit in his lawn chair and watch the race. But he freaking loves it. Everything about it. And yeah, he's just having a great time, and we're doing really well for him, and it's kind of a rivalry. I learned in Seattle it's kind of become a rivalry between the Beacon Electric employees and the Beacon Plumbing employees. So it's electricians versus plumbers. So I learned that in Seattle, and yeah, they're having a good time, and they keep doing these hospitalities, and the people are loving it, and all that good stuff. But I will touch on Jamie's, their people. I mean, if you went to the trophy presentation in Seattle, it was 500 Mercury people, and then there's some other people there. It was insane to see how much Mercury stuff was there. So to see that with a new sponsor coming in, that's super cool. I mean, you don't get that all the time, and it was really neat to see. I mean, I'm happy for Jamie and Scott and Shannon because they've worked so hard, and it's showing now and paying off for them.
Yeah, we're definitely lucky to have sponsors like that step up and love the sport, and we get to go out and represent them. Bill Cahill, he's been a fan of the sport for a long time, and so we're pretty lucky to get to go out and represent them. I've been lucky enough to do that quite a few times over the years, and drive as under Beacon Plumbing and stuff. So it's pretty cool to get to continue to do that and go out there and represent him and his company and his employees and stuff.
That's awesome. That's what keeps the sport going. And like I said, I think the new group with H1 Unlimited, watching some of the behind the scenes action, talking with you guys throughout the summer, I think it's only going to grow. I know you guys are only 6 boats going to the Gold Cup, but there's 6 really fast boats. You guys are going to put on a great show. So I think the growth of H1 Unlimited is definitely on the rise. Kyle, Bobby, you got anything else you want to ask before we get into the rapid fire questions?
No, I'm all set. I think we pretty much covered everything. So yeah, let's just do this rapid fire. Brandon, you want to start out with Jamie's?
Yep. All right, Jamie, we got just some rapid fire questions, fun ones, light ones. Just answer whatever comes to your mind first. What do you drink when you wake up in the morning?
Coffee, for sure.
Oh, come on, what kind? That was a trick question.
Just some Mercury's coffee with a little bit of vanilla creamer.
There you go.
They got the hydro octane coffee pods now. They're really good, actually. They're awesome.
Nice. We'll have to try them out. How about the favorite class you've ever raced?
Probably the lay down pro boats in the outboards. They're a rush. I loved it.
Yeah, you're crazy for that. I'm not going that fast on a sheet of plywood. Will you be nice and give up lane 1 for once?
I don't think so.
Your favorite race course, and it doesn't have to be H1 race course.
I gotta say Seafair in Seattle. It's a brutal course, but it's where I fell in love with the sport. It's got a sentimental value to me. So
nice. Beer or whiskey?
Beer.
Who's your what is harder to drive, a Grand Prix or an unlimited?
An unlimited for sure.
Who's your biggest cheerleader?
Probably my wife for sure.
Your most memorable moment in your racing career?
Winning my first nationals when I was 16 years old, just as a family, doing it as a family. Little J Pro Hydro. It's just really sweet, really special.
Awesome. Are you better at getting lane one or playing baseball?
Depends. Back in the day, probably baseball, but nowadays it's probably boat racing.
And then you already answered the last one that was on here, your favorite coffee.
Can't go wrong with Mercury's. It's great. If you haven't tried it, try it out. Mercury's.com.
I got some of Madison. That stuff was good, man. And I'm not a big coffee drinker, but I was like, we got to try it. Just see how it is.
I would say that in Madison, them giving out them fans coffee, I don't think them fans needed to be riled up any more than they already were.
Yeah, it's not just coffee either. They got energy drinks and lemonades, and it's all really good stuff.
All right, Corey, we'll move on to you.
All right.
All right. So what's your favorite race? Again, doesn't have to be an unlimited race site, but can be if you want it to be.
Tri-Cities. By far. Yeah.
Fair enough. Bud Light or Heineken?
I'm a whiskey guy, though. But I'll take a Heine.
All right. Favorite class to race?
The unlimited, for sure.
Who's your biggest cheerleader?
Probably Daryl and Vanessa Strong. You know, they want both of us to do really well. So, I mean, they love it. So I'm going to say Daryl and Vanessa.
Is that a spray tan or natural?
It's natural.
Kind of orange.
I have Hawaiian in me, so I get really dark.
Would you rather win the Gold Cup or the High Point Championship?
Well, I want to win the Gold Cup, here in San Diego. I think the High Point is too far out of reach at this point, so it'd be nice to get my name on the Gold Cup again.
All right. And then last one, are you ever going to send Patty the sweatshirts?
They're at my house. Yeah.
Yeah, girl.
I knew that was going to come. Yeah, they're at the house. They've made it to the house.
They said they're at the house.
That's what I heard last week.
They haven't made it in the box yet, but they've made it to the house.
All right, Mike. Here we go.
All right.
What's your favorite to drive, inboard or outboard?
Outboard.
All right.
Interesting.
Core Ranch Doritos or spicy nacho Doritos?
What was that?
Core Ranch Doritos or spicy nacho Doritos?
Oh, definitely spicy.
All right. Is Tim Collins as good as he says he is on the radio?
He's pretty good. He does good. He talks
right.
sweet things in my ears all the time.
Okay, so I won't give him a hard time anymore then. All right, what's your favorite place to race?
Seattle.
All right. Who's your biggest cheerleader?
I would say, well, of course, my family, but my two boys. They're probably the hardest on me and probably cheer me on the most.
All right. Does Carson give you driving tips?
Yeah, he does. He does actually, and he's actually pretty good at it. It won't be long.
I know when we play Hydro Sim, he'll get on and tell people what they're doing wrong. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, no,
He's
I
coming
hear it
around
all.
as a good driver.
I hear it all the time.
That's great. Most memorable thing during your years in boat racing?
Probably watching my kid win nationals, getting the hall champions.
Okay, last question. You did it once. Would you get back in a skiff with me driving again?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Yeah, I would. I'd do it again.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right, so that's
might have to let me drive next time though.
There we go. We can do that. We can break out we have a JS35 now. We can do that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good idea. We'll have to ask
we just need to put the two steering wheels in there and you fight over it. That's always been our plan in a skiff, was to have two steering wheels.
Yeah, at least let me pretend like I'm driving.
Exactly.
That's great.
So, guys, anything you want to add before we cut it off for the night?
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I want to ride in a skiff someday.
All right, you're up too.
All
Go,
right.
why
Make
don't
that
you come
happen.
east? They might be in Madison next year, so if your owner will let you, maybe we can go spin a few laps.
Yeah, do some neck exercises.
Definitely some neck exercises. It'll definitely get you ready to rattle in the unlimited.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, guys, we appreciate having you guys coming on Chasin Tails. It's been cool to learn a little bit more about the unlimited and what you guys are doing. Definitely good luck to you guys all at the Gold Cup. We'll be watching, and hopefully one of you three bring on the trophy.
Yeah. No,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Yeah,
luck,
thanks a
guys.
lot,
Sorry,
Mike.
sorry, Chasin Tails fans.
Appreciate it.
No favoritism there. We'll tell the next guys the same thing.
Yeah. You got Dustin and them coming on here soon before the Gold Cup? Or?
Yep. We're gonna try to get them on the week before. Do a little recap next week after the HRL season finale, and then have them
Right
on
on.
the following week, hopefully.
Cool.
So, anything you guys want us to ask? Any of them?
Very good.
How long's 150 feet?
Look
I
on your
just like stirring
phone.
the pot.
Look on your phone, and I think there's a picture that shows what 150 feet is.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Yep, for sure.
Oh,
Not that it's not that far behind.
Nope, not at
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, guys. Well, good luck. Have some safe racing. It's pretty cool watching you guys the past couple of years. You know, I never really hate to say it, but I never really followed Unlimited until probably 2021. So, and then following you guys the past few years, it's been pretty cool watching all your driving styles and how you guys do, and knowing you guys, it's pretty cool. So go out there, kick some ass, and be safe.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's good watching you guys out there too. It's been fun watching you guys race and race against you at the same time.
Yep.
all. Man.
So,
Be safe out there in San Diego, and see you guys soon.
yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Are you
Thanks,
guys
guys.
are you guys going to the Florida race?
I think we'll be down there with the 2.5.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we'll end up being there. I don't know with what though.
Okay.
Cool.
So,
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. Be a good
You'll
time.
see us somewhere
Sounds.
back
Yep.
there.
Yep.
Hampton?
I mean, I might fly over there. I don't know if my 350.
Oh, I figured you might bring the 350.
The boat can make
Yeah.
it. The trailer.
The
can't.
boat can make it.
Trailer can't.
Yeah.
Trailer. I redid the whole trailer, so it's still not done.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's getting worked on, but it was the plan to make it. But it's just there's some thing we could rush it and get it there, but it's with what we've done. I don't want to do that. I just want it to be right, you know,
Yeah.
because then you'll never go back and fix what you rushed, so you could go to a race. So
Right.
it's just got to be done right. It'll drive me nuts. So
Damn.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you very
All
much
right.
for joining us
See you
tonight.
guys.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks.
guys.
Catch y'all soon.
Alrighty, guys.
all right, see you guys. Thank you.
Later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care. T-Pipes comment.
You had me there. I really did look at my phone.
This should finish uploading in a second. We can
Yeah.
carry on.
No, we're still recording.
Yeah, we're still live.
I know.
Yeah,
All
that
right,
was,
Dan.
that was cool. I feel like we learned a lot more about them guys, about what's happening with the fighting for lanes and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
In H1, definitely. Hopefully, you guys watching enjoyed that section, and we're gonna have, like we said, try to get Dustin Andrew on, and who was the third one that was just now? Oh, maybe Dave Vowalk, I think. Try to get him on. That'd be cool.
What about Gunner?
I don't think they're going. Last I
don't
mean,
think they're
the
racing
Hydro
in San
News is the
Diego.
only one I've seen that posted the 6 boats, and that's the only 6 that I've
Okay.
seen. But if obviously
join.
there's some updates,
Bobby
somebody can
King,
drop it in the
Bobby
comment.
King, and them aren't going.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
sure what's going on.
Actually, I don't think. I think Bobby last time I heard said that there was still like a possibility, but at the moment it wasn't. I could be wrong, but I talked to him a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I agree. It was cool getting. You know, we don't get to, at least us on the East Coast, we don't get to talk to the Unlimited guys a ton. So it's cool hearing some of their perspective on what's been going on this year. And you know, like you said, I agree that I think the Unlimited class, while there has been some drama this year, is in my opinion trending in the right direction. I think one thing that they have that maybe they've struggled with in the past, and it's sometimes I don't know how, but sometimes it's maybe overlooked, and it's a key is you got a lot of really competitive boats. You kind of need that. You can try your best to put on a show when you got one really fast boat and kind of a mix in there, but you really do have any one of these guys can go out and win a heat and ultimately win a final, especially with the starting procedure, like they said. Really, it's just a matter of controlling your own destiny.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool, like hearing from Corey. Obviously, he's in with Daryl Strong. He sees them all the time, and what they're doing with that new group, and then asking about doing GP and 350 under their banner to make it the same show at every race. I mean, that's inside information. So hopefully we can get all these groups to work together. I mean, like we said, we've seen it work for HRL and GPA for the betterment of Grand Prix this year. If we could do that for the entire top tier of the sport, I think it just trickles down. Everything will succeed from there with having more boats at each of these bigger events.
Yeah, I hope that the way the challenge went this year is like a good sign for all the organizations that can happen. Like you said, it took quite a while to get that to happen, and not that anybody's like wrong for feeling that way, especially when somebody's got something that's working to try and change it up and take on a big task like that. But I think we've seen over the years, especially in my lifetime, that when you've got different organizations pulling competitors in different directions, it although one group might end up being better off and at one point in time or another, like it does hurt everybody. And when you can kind of get everybody working in the same direction, you can't really have everybody always working in the same direction, but more than less, it usually it works, and it works for everybody.
Yeah, paves
the
road.
I think GPA and HRL both benefit. I'm not in either organization necessarily, but I from what I saw, I think both groups benefited from the challenge this year, which is what you're looking to get out of it.
At the end of the day, it might not have been fan count at the races, might not have been the perfect boat count that we had hoped for in the beginning, but it was exposure, lots of exposure with those two groups coming together at those three events. Like I said, I think in a dream world next year, it could be maybe Madison and Valleyfield, and then I'd head out to San Diego at the end of the year to try to mix in that West Coast crowd. Obviously, they got a lot of things brewing on the West Coast, obviously 12, 13 GPs at San Diego. So let's try to feed that for next year and make it even bigger for next year, ending the challenge there. So
yeah,
lots to talk about this winter for those organizations, all three of them that we just spoke about. But we have the Hydroplane Racing League finale this weekend. We've spoke about it a few times, but a lot of points battles coming down to the end, and the weather's not looking too hot. It might be windy and rough. What better way to end an HRL race than windy and rough?
Let's be honest, is that really like that far off par?
Nah, Hornwall's
it's
generally
always
pretty rough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's especially it all depends if the dams are open upriver there a little bit. If they have too much water, they have to open those dams, and then it gets pretty hectic out in the course. I remember in past years we had to change the course around a little bit and shorten it up and do some different things to try to make it raceable. But the weather's definitely going to play a big hand. I mean, if it's going to be like it has in the past a little bit here and there, it's going to be that rough. I do think that it might shake up some of the points battle, because you'll have some, I mean, when you get rough water like that, it's not the inside boat always wins. I mean, you have chance of hooking, chance of slow starts, a bunch of different variables that are tossed in there.
Sponson's coming apart. Never know.
Sponson's coming apart.
That year, I think it was like 2 years ago on 350 that I think Kent was in fourth entering the weekend, like 30 points back, and somehow almost won it at the end, or did win it. Memory doesn't serve me perfect anymore.
Yeah, I forget.
Everyone broke a sponson or ripped the skid fin out. Like all this crazy stuff happened.
Oh, it was wild.
That's what's awesome about having a series where everyone shows up and goes to all the same events. That even Paul Barber, like talk about 350, he's fourth. He's sitting in a decent spot. Them guys could mess up. You never know.
Yeah.
Derek said it's Saturday rain, but Sunday it looks fairly nice.
Good. HRL has ran in the rain many a time.
Oh
yeah.
They're ones that if you're at a race and bad weather's coming in, if you're at an HRL race, chances are you most likely you're going to race. I mean, they check it out. They know what we can run in and not run in. So bad weather doesn't count racing out. I mean, it just means you gotta reach up and grab those shoulder belts and pull them a little tighter.
Yeah. But out of all classes, who do you think has the most pressure going into this weekend?
I'm sitting here looking at points. I mean, let's go through class by class, and then we can determine that at the end. Like right now, you have in the S class, you have Jacob. He's sitting on a comfortable 460 point lead with 410 points. But if you look back at second all the way to sixth, it's anyone's game between second and sixth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's gonna be interesting to see how that unfolds throughout the week.
Yeah.
I'd say most pressure, like taking, not going to say myself, obviously I have a lot of pressure, but I think like class wise, you got, what's the lead in 2,500 between Grant and Eddie? I think that's pretty close.
10 points, I believe.
10 points.
10 points.
Yeah. And, both those guys got to run on the outside in a heat, which means both of them are going to, at some point, have 5 to 6 boats ultimately to go around. And, two boat difference. You got a 3. You're down to, what, a 4-point lead, something like that?
Yep. Yeah. Heat 2 and 3 on the weekend for Formula 2500s are going to be the one to watch because they're going to be the game changers.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
It's how you finish, especially if they both get like a first and a third, and then they're somewhere in the outside again on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to do it twice. I mean, they've been doing it all year. There's a reason they're the top 2, but there's a little added pressure being the last race. You saw Dan Canfus checking everything. Scott Liddycoat's posting all over Facebook. Checking everything. It's cool. I mean, that's what's so exciting. I said it for many years of the HRL. You go into this last race, no matter where it was, and you always had these battles, and it just adds so much excitement to the weekend. Where in other forms, I mean, like we just had H1, Corey thinks is already pretty much over. Unfortunately, I don't know what it becomes. Is it because of the points are a lot differently structured? More points, 100, 95, whatever. But it's really cool that this one can come down to the last race for multiple classes.
So, I mean, looking at 350, it's another close one. I mean, you have the H14 only with the 18-point lead. Then in second, you have the H999 Eric McKenna. And then only 42 points behind first, you have the Bull Shark, Carl St. Vincent. That guy's been on a roll this year. He's been exciting to watch. One of my favorite to watch in 350. He's improved so much from the past years. And I mean, in fourth, it's getting back there. Paul Barber in the H52. He's 55 points behind, but like you guys said,
podium's totally in play for him there.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think you do have 4 heats, flights of 350 to go out in that first qualifier. So
yeah, a lot of
points can change up pretty fast. It's nothing set in stone. I don't think nothing's set in stone in H350. I think it's going to be another one to watch. Might not be as a close battle as the F2500 with Grant and Eddie, but it's going to be one to watch. That's for sure.
I think the closest battle we got is novice.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure, Brandon. If I remember right,
9 points behind.
9-14. What's fourth then? 24.
Fourth is only 24 points. Well, fifth is 25 points behind.
20. Yeah.
So
that's wild.
Yeah, you have you have a points battle in novice class too.
Yeah.
So novice, I think Jacob, we can pretty much say Jacob probably has the wrap up on the championship with the 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, he would pretty much have to not run.
Right.
The F class, that's going to come down to
probably the final.
Yeah, probably.
I do have before we move on from that, do they have a tiebreaker system in HRL? Because I was just thinking about it, like they do.
I think it goes on whoever won the most finals.
Most finals, okay. I was just curious. They have it's with the 10-point difference, like it is.
Yeah, I believe we have. I think it might have been 350s that ended in the tie that one year.
No way, I didn't know that.
So Derek Anderson in the chat said the dam will be open.
Bring it on. Whoa.
It's gonna be some rough water.
Bring it on.
Man, how about that year? And you never know. This is again HRL's forward thinking on their feet for this race. They've always had rough water issues. They wind all the dam. They got to deal with all this. That one year we ran that
Triangle
D-shaped course, the triangle course on Saturday, and then they're like, "Oh, it's super rough. Let's shorten the course up." And it was like 7/8 of a mile or something on Sunday. So they ain't afraid to do things with the course to make sure we get that last race in. It's that important to the hydroplane racing league.
No, that's just a race committee, an organization thinking on their toes. I mean, how many I've been to races where, oh, the wind's blowing, we're not going to race. It's like, well, move the course, change the course up a little bit, do this, do that. But, you know, kudos to HRL for trying to provide that for the racers to make sure that they get their last battle in of the season. And so the championship isn't just won off the water, because if I was going in the last race leading, I don't, you know, in a points battle, I don't want to say I won because the race was blown out. You know, you want to leave everything out in the water as a racer. So good thing HRL thinks on their feet and tries to do that for the racers.
100%. And obviously for race fans listening and watching right now, they're going to have another stellar live stream this weekend. Was talking with Janik this week. It was really cool watching the races in H1 Unlimited while you guys were at Tonawanda, and H1 was putting HRL's videos on their live stream during their downtime. It goes back to these organizations working together for the betterment of the sport as a whole. It's just really cool. Obviously, the live stream this year has been incredible. Everybody stepped up their game. So definitely be watching for people that aren't there, like Kyle Bipes.
Yeah. So yeah, and then looking at Skiffs, I mean, it looks like the Yimity's going to be taking it. He's 96 points ahead of his nephew, Max Awancio. But let's see.
Like 27.
So yeah.
Second and third.
The second and third, they're still fighting.
Third and fourth are only 2 apart.
Third and fourth,
Oh, wow.
the Dave and Sam Greenlaw, they could try to charge their way towards the podium. So
Yeah,
they're not.
Cool.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting to watch. Then we move the GPs, and let's see. You have Ken Lupton with 565 points, with TM Special 61 points behind. So
Yeah,
Jack's only 18 behind that, and then there's a pretty decent gap to fourth from there. So the podium and HRL is pretty set. I mean, like the order, maybe not necessarily, but
yeah, I think it's crazy. I was thinking about this today. You know, anytime as a driver you make a mistake, you think about it a lot. No, I'm not talking about you, Bobby. Jumping the gun in Valleyfield really killed our chances. I mean,
yeah,
we lost 34 points that heat, and I jumped by 1/10 of a second. That's kind of crazy because of that points penalty. This is hitting the start's the main thing we got as boat racers. So I don't really like that points penalty being added. Obviously, this is the first year I've been affected by it. But I mean, if that wasn't there and we got the 50 points for that heat, because everybody jumped the gun, we would probably be going into this race 10 points back, and it would have been a battle for the championship. Obviously, breaking down things like that play a factor into it too, but it's kind of wild that you finished a heat and essentially got told, it wasn't worth nothing.
Yeah. I think it got a little exasperated by the double points too.
Yeah, for sure.
That didn't help. I don't know. One thing I was just talking about with one of my coworkers the other day, because different the way they do like penalties and stuff in different sports. Like I almost think it'd be like you can make the punishment for penalties almost like progressive in a way where like in your case, I think that was the only penalty you've had so far this year.
Yeah. Maybe
the first time there's not necessarily a points reduction that goes with it. The points reduction start kicking in as you become a repeat offender on penalties in general, the same penalty. I think certain ones like jumping the gun by 3+ seconds, like I don't really have a problem with DQing somebody for that. That's, right. That affects the show. That can very much so affect the race itself. But like, in that case, I don't know how far you jumped by. I would imagine it wasn't too much. And then to have what's ultimately a 36 point penalty. something like that. And, out of 400 points, you're talking like what, 8% overall points or something like that. 7.5% overall points. It's got a lot bigger impact than you'd think.
Yeah,
that it was one heat.
It made more of a difference than if we would have broke down one heat anywhere other than Valley.
Yeah, it's true.
Being Valleyfield was a penalty. We would have had to break down a heat and finish 4th to lose as many points as we lost.
Yeah,
in that one heat. It's just, I've never looked into it. I mean, I understand we were there when they made all those changes and points. They were really trying to stop people from jumping the gun by a long shot and affecting the outcome with the other things. But I mean, most of that's not, having a points penalty is not changing a driver's mentality on how they're going to hit a start. It's really, I can't dwell on it and then be like, oh, I'm going to be late so I don't lose penalties or get that penalty because now you're going to be late and miss your shot at the first turn. I just think, like you said, there is something that could be there because obviously it affects things. I'm sure if you looked, and HRL is really good at looking at spreadsheets of how things affected things all year. I'm sure if you looked at it over the past 3 years, it's affected more than one championship at the end because of this points penalty system. Yeah. But I know they have that data. They're smarter than me.
and like ultimately at the end of the day, everybody's playing under the same rules. So I don't know that it's not like it's adversely affected anybody in particular. It just so happens to affect people that are competing for the championship. I don't know that anybody sitting in last place is going to be like, well, those 18 points or whatever I lost. But
right,
like I said, I totally understand why they implemented the rule. And I think you've seen it over the last couple of years. The amount of penalties that has been called has gone down, and some of that's attributed to the way that the races are being officiated, and I think more of it's attributed to the way the drivers have been driving. The competition level in general, you go out and get a penalty, and without the points, you just drop to 5th in a heat. Take 350, for example. Guess what? You're best making the Conti.
Yeah.
So that alone does some of the work for them. I just think there might be cases where, we've talked about, maybe a small time penalty for a gun jump of less than a second or something like that, or less than a half second. It's just other things that we can consider as we move into the future and look to keep better in the show and, finding ways. I can't fault HRL for it because at the end of the day, we are talking about basically all but one class having undetermined podiums for the final race of the year. That's the goal. And, that's why they're so willing and to make changes to the course to make sure we get the race off. You don't want to have this whole 5 race culminate in this awesome, finale and then not get to run it.
Exactly. 100%.
I mean, if that rule wasn't there, the points battle would be a lot closer. But I think that being said, it doesn't throw shadow on anything. I mean, on Ken Lupton. Look how he has that boat running phenomenal. He is his handling came around. That thing's handling looks like it's handling like a dream now.
Yeah, that video of him coming around turn 2 in that time trial.
Oh,
that Valleyfield, the big thing didn't even. It was glued.
Yeah,
it was perfect.
Yeah, he's so it is really nice to see him. He was struggling with boat setup or boat or handling something for a while, and it is nice to see him have that come around and start doing a lot better. He's driving. It looks like he's driving way more comfortable in there than he has, say, last year, or even say in the beginning of the season. So they definitely made some changes, made some big strides. Is doing a lot better. I mean, he's most likely going to win the championship this year, and so that's a huge for him because they sacrifice a lot to come over here and race for the whole.
Yeah, I'd say you see a huge difference too. I mean, they stayed over here the whole summer. At least Ken did, and his dad did. I think Jack just went back, but that's what it takes to run Grand Prix at this level in a series like this is dedication. There's so many hours that go into it to make sure you can be there every heat. I mean, the little things that you could miss during the week is the difference between winning a championship and finishing 5th. You got a lot of guys in this sport, the HRL sport, that in GPA that have these guys that work full time on the boat or just have a really dedicated crew. Look at the Steeler all those years. Mike Endry's always had the writing on the wall, preparation wins races. And then it was like races are won at home, not at the race kind of thing. It just shows. I mean, last year they went back and forth and they had some DNFs. And I would be willing to bet that attributed to it is because a lot of things are missed because they're rushing to get back, get the boat to the race. So it just shows that they put in that extra effort to miss a lot of at-home time, and it's paid off big time now. What I want to know is if he wins the championship, is he going to the gala? Because if so, that gala is going to be off the chain.
And if he
I'm gonna
goes
have
to
to
the
take-
gala, is he accepting his award a barefoot there too?
It
It is going to be what, January or something?
Yeah,
I
January,
don't
and
think
it,
they
and it
care.
is.
I don't think they
The,
care.
if you've haven't been to Valleyfield in January, the river we race on, or whatever you call it, the bay, is frozen. You can walk on it. Carson and I took our trophies out on it one year,
That's
and just
awesome.
we're basically sitting in the middle of the pit area where the fountain is with our trophies. It's wild.
That's cool.
I'd rather it be in somewhere tropical, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know what? If you're going to have the gala, what in Valleyfield, why have it in January?
Right.
We're done racing in September.
Let's just
Put
go
that
right back
thing
up
in
there.
November. Put it
Yeah.
in October, November. I mean, come on, you're going to make everyone drive through a blizzard?
Yeah. Yeah.
To be
Their
fair, you might get a
rebuttal-
blizzard in November too.
Right.
Yeah,
Their
true.
rebuttal to that is that gala takes that much preparation. I mean, they put on one heck of a show. It's the best.
Man, what
banquet we've
have we
ever
told
been
to please these boat racers? All you need is some food and
Yep.
some beer.
Free
Order
beer,
some
free
pizzas,
food. Done.
get a few kegs of beer, and you're done.
Yep.
Just hand us some trophies.
Now,
See, they're
now
going to
we talk
listen
about-
to us this time, and we're going to regret it.
we talk this party. Now, can you imagine if Ken wins the championship and Grant Liddycote wins championship under
Yeah.
Lupton Motorsports? Oh my God. You might as well shut down Valleyfield for over a week.
Yeah, right.
Because they're going to shut down every bar they got from Brockville to Valleyfield.
Right.
A lot of team meetings.
Yeah, for sure.
Derek
So,
had a good
Derek,
question. He said,
go ahead.
yeah, he said, so if you're leading points, do you run safe or do you run hard? Guess it depends on how many points you're leading by.
Right. Yeah, I think you gotta be smart. Again, back to the penalties thing. You gotta be clean. That's it.
Yeah.
And you let your boat and your driving do what got you there. I mean,
It also
kind of
kinda-
leading the points.
It also kind of depends on how that water is. Because, I mean, ask Grant Liddyco how running soft and rough water worked out last
Yeah.
year.
Right.
You know, it can bite you just as hard.
Yep.
So I say if you're close in the championship, you go out there and you give it all you got. If you have a little less than a heat worth of points, you play it safe. But if you have a big margin, it's your last race. Go out and run it hard. Just
Go try to win it.
Yeah, just go try to win. But you know, if you're on that margin, like if I miss a heat or if I wreck, my season's done. But you know, you play it safe. But if it's close in points, you just go out there and leave it all out in the water.
Yeah.
I
I
know
agree with that.
I know some, like, I think I touched on it last week, but it's awesome. Like we just said a couple minutes ago, like in every class, there is a points battle somewhere pretty close to the top. So I don't think you're going to get a lot of people that have the luxury of going out there running safe. I know, you got a couple people, Jimmy Stewart, not that matters. He's going to run the same way he always does.
With or without a rudder.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It don't matter. Jacob's gonna go out and I think Jacob will probably run a little softer, I guess, if you want to say that, than he normally does with the lead he's got. Maybe not, who knows? But then, outside of that, Ken and GP, I don't know that Ken knows how to run soft. I don't know that either of them do. I don't know that either of them do. So
I think
I think
all of us in GP are running for that race win, and we're going to put it all on the table.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like, what I was going to say is I touched on it last week. Like, I'm in a position where I am sitting on a podium and have promotion to F, but got Derek 2 points behind me, Kenny 15 points back, Matisse like 22 points back. Like, my opinion, offense is kind of the best version of defense, so we can keep working our way up the points. I think that's the easiest way to keep people behind versus trying to go out there and play like a super point game or strategy game. Just go out there and finish the best you can every heat.
Exactly. Do what got you there. That's it.
Yeah. Yep.
You're in that position for a reason.
It'll be interesting. I mean, I suspect. I mean, I've only raced there once, but I've watched the stream at Mahornwall several years, and I don't think I've ever seen it calm.
No.
No,
calmest
I don't
water
even think
is
it's calm
going
in the
out of
morning.
area.
No,
Pit
no.
just going out of the pit area, and that's only if you're like at that spot we always get that's like tucked in the hole. That's
Yeah.
the calmest you get.
Yeah, it really is.
So if it's rough, predictions on what the course is going to be. Are they going to shorten it up? They're going to have that D course where it has that kink in the front stretch right after start line, or is it going to be a normal course? What do you think they're going to have?
So we ran the D course because of I believe it was because of the dams being open. So if
Dams
the dams
are going to be open this year.
they might do it again. I thought it was cool race course. Mix it up. It was really neat. And I didn't even mind running 2 different courses. That was pretty cool too.
You know what I think? I think we need to make a course, not on any St. Lawrence River water, but we need to make a course the same shape as Indianapolis 500.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, what's like Havasu?
Hampton's got so much water, you could do it at Hampton. That'd be great.
You could. I remember Louisville, Kentucky, raced there one year. It was a triangle.
Yeah.
You go down the front stretch. It'd be a tight first turn. You go down under the bridge, run along the bridge, then cut back under the bridge for the front stretch. It was a little different.
Neat.
So, but yeah, I think leading into Beauharnois, I think it's going to be weighing heavy on a few drivers' minds on how they're going to perform, and how they're going to do. But there's one driver in particular. I always tell him, it's just any other race. Don't worry about it. You know, that's how you have to go and treat it. I mean, you have to hit your start just like any other race. You got to get to the first turn just like any other race. And if you start getting in your head that, oh, this is a championship, so you're only going to have issues from there on out.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know I learned in Mott, I up until this point like to believe I had a little bit more. What's the word? It's not intelligence, but just like consideration for my own safety than Bob. Let's put it that way. And I was having some steering issues in the first heat. I told my dad, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to take start with them. Like, I don't trust it. And I don't know. I never really cognitively made the decision that I changed my mind, but just kind of ended up with them after the start and going into the first turn. And it's, one of those things. We only get to race so many times a year. And I know Austin and we get to race a ton. But, even 20, 30 heats a piece, doesn't feel like enough. So, we only got so many left. And, as much as you want to go out and, protect points or whatever, that adrenaline kicks in a little bit.
The adrenaline is
Bob knows all about that.
The adrenaline can be your best friend or your worst nightmare, because that adrenaline, it overrides your brain, your body, and the next thing you know, you're bouncing off the GP71. I can't believe Ken Lupton paid the GP71 to run into me.
Right, exactly. Is that what give it some jandal means?
just stirring that pot.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Do you guys think there's going to be any big developments this weekend? Like, you want to call any shots on any big moves in the standings?
No. It's too hard to predict.
All right.
It definitely
I got one in my mind, but I ain't jinxing him. He told me not to.
Oh, so you're picking him. All right. So let's not talk about the 2.5 in the GP, but let's talk about, what do you guys think is going to happen in the between Grant and Eddie?
I think Eddie holds on to it by 2 points.
I think Grant is going to make up ground in the preliminary heats. I think it's going to be less than a 10-point lead going into the final. I don't want to predict how the final goes. I don't know. I without knowing what the course is like. I was funny. I was talking about it with Eddie the other day. Watching Grant go through turn 2 in Valleyfield on that video that HRL posted, that boat was turning without the skid fin at one point. Ultimate. And I asked Eddie, I was like, just looking back on it, seeing that video, is there any little thing you would have done differently? And ultimately that's what those heats come down to, is small little in the moment, sometimes decisions that you don't even know you make.
Yeah. Well, that's dirt tracking right there. I mean,
Yeah.
like I always said, in 2.5, you generally a few times a heat in Valleyfield, you'll dirt track it. You'll go around that corner and you'll unload that skid fin, and then the boat slowly starts to rotate. Well, it's slow motion in the cockpit. It's probably happened actually pretty fast, but you have to dirt track it and correct it and turn right to straighten it back up, and then turn left before that skid fin settles down. But no, that was pretty impressive. Because Grant could have easily looped it right there. But
yeah, if that sponson gets out of the water before the fin's back in, it's going straight.
That's a young kid reaction right there. Catching that before it looped around.
Yeah.
Many people have looped that turn in 2.5 doing that. Same thing with 350.
Yeah.
I seen GPs spin out there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's all going to be, I think it's going to come down to the final, unless stupid things happen during the qualifiers. But I think it's going to come down to the final, and it's any other heat. It comes down to who is more mentally prepared for that final.
Yeah,
and I think that's what it's going to come down to.
And Grant's got to make up ground in those qualifiers 2 and 3. Obviously, if one gets first, one gets second, that's 4 points he could make up. If one gets second, one gets third, that's only 3 points he can make up, and so on. Like, it's then a 3-point gap for every position. So I think he's got to be within 4 going into that final. Because chances are John Shaw's going to be in there.
That's what I was saying.
I was about to say.
Sam Tremblay, John, Sam, those guys are going to make it interesting. Kevin and Mark, especially in Tonawanda, those two really got into the mix there.
Yeah, I mean, you have John Shaw that could totally throw a wrench into any of their weekends.
Yeah, and he's going to be in one of their heats. So.
Yeah, because he's just as fast as them.
So he's going to be in Eddie's first heat, and then Grant's second. If I know the heat formula correctly.
So he's in Eddie's first heat, but that's the outside. But he's in Grant's second heat on the inside.
Yeah. Inside of him, but they're on the outside. Yes.
So that'll be pretty interesting. I would say right now, arguably 2 of the fastest forwards in North America going at it.
Yeah.
Grant and John.
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty interesting to see. That'll be a battle.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It'll be quite interesting.
I wouldn't want to be in their shoes because I was in their shoes not too long ago. We were tied in the final and I choked. So honestly, I ain't got the pressure mentality in me either. That still haunts me in my dreams.
I still remember you sitting on your cell with your head down, just looking down during watching the whole heat.
Yeah, why people gotta take pictures of you in those moments, man?
Man, I don't know. Hey,
but I got that picture up here in the office. It's motivation.
The best ever seen you on the boat is you go to run back and you slip on your oil.
Oh, wham! That video is so funny. That video is so funny.
Man, we should resurface that one, post it on Chasin Tails. That was a good one.
Oh, dude, that is hilarious.
That was pretty good. Yeah. I've
done
a lot of dumb things.
All right. Looking at 350, I mean, I don't want to keep dragging this thing along, but
well, this is the last one. I think you're looking at it, in my opinion, I think Fred's been so consistent all year. I don't think he bobbles. He's got luck on his side because, like, he didn't make the final in Tonawanda and nobody made up points in the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to call it Fred is winning the championship. But I think, I'm not trying to count anyone out, but between the Bull Shark, Paul Barber, and Eric McKenna, I think one of those 3 is going to get the win for the weekend.
Yeah.
Paul Barber, he's super fast. I think he finally got it to hold together in Tonawanda. So, But if you look at Eric McKenna and Carl St. Vincent, those guys, those hauls handle, I don't know what it is because I know they both have, well, at least Eric has Henderson sponsons, but
they're both Henderson.
They're both Henderson sponsons, but they handle different for some reason than a Henderson, even though they have Henderson sponsons. It could be the bow lift or whatnot. But those boats seem like they like rough water more than most of the H350s. So I think between one of those three, Eric McKenna, Carl St. Vincent, Paul Barber, they'll pull out the win for the weekend. But I think championship will go to Fred in the H14.
Yeah, how cool is that first year in the boat?
That's a crazy story.
If he wins it, great. If not, he contended for it. That's incredible.
Yeah. Dude could walk out of there with 3 trophies if you think about it. Most improved, best driver in superior class, and 350 champion.
Yeah. I
mean, he would be qualified to win all 3.
I think out of all the people to win a championship, I think Fred will be the most excited and happiest and appreciative out of all of them.
For sure. For sure.
I mean, that dude's attitude towards boat racing, and he's just a good sport, and he's a great guy. So hopefully he pulls it off. I'll be rooting for him.
He's got it. I know he's got that boat freshly painted and everything ready to go for the final.
Oh yeah, Alex. She's always working. So, all right, boys. I think that's a wrap.
I think that wraps it up. Hey, did y'all see our? Why do I always do that? I reached the wrong way, looking like an idiot. Did y'all see our show sponsor for the week? Haterade Salt Be Gone. For all you folks going to San Diego to race in that saltwater, get yourself some Haterade Salt Be Gone. Show sponsor.
That stuff works. You pump it through your engine, cleans out all the salt through your engine. Throw it on your boat if you want. Throw it on the hardware.
Get rid of all that salt. So we're going to get Haterade's going to do a 15% off coupon tomorrow for San Diego. We'll post it up on our social media.
20. Man, we've done 20.
It was, but half of those bites was on, so we have to give you 10 by yourself.
Yeah.
But nobody bashing you.
Oh, man. Guy from Madison chirping all the time.
So be on next week. We'll have the Unlimited guys on, and then, or are we just doing Bahornwall recap next week? And then
Unlimited guys recap. Maybe we'll try to get a couple of the championship winners on here next week. We'll see if they're free and sober by Tuesday. And then the following week, we'll try to get the rest of the H1 Unlimited guys on, talk about the Gold Cup, get their thoughts on it.
Well, next week, I also got to maybe start talking about the Hampton Cup Regatta coming up.
Yeah, that is coming up. Everything's coming up fast. September's a big month. It is the
Summer Nationals. The Summer Nationals, the Hampton Cup Regatta. And I know a lot of people like racing Hampton Cup. It's a really good course. Really good people run the race. As long as you keep it on the water there. But no, it's a national, so hopefully we get some West Coast guys.
Yeah, I think they're going to have an incredible show on H350 and 2.5 stocks as well. I mean, Jersey Skiffs obviously put on a good show too, but
I mean, the Skiffs,
there's a lot of fast boats.
I mean, I've been hearing Clyde McFarland saying, "Oh, I'm coming out this year. Well, come on, Clyde. It's the Summer Nationals, buddy. Get your boat going. Hopefully Birdsall makes it too. And so Skiffs will definitely have a good turnout, and they always do. So
yeah,
it'll be don't want to hear Clyde. Oh, got my engine back apart. couldn't get the rings to seal. Oh. Working on these golf carts taking too much time. Hey, speaking of, does Clyde have your props done yet?
Not yet. I hope he does by Lake of Pagon, because I got a brand new rudder and hopefully have a new prop. We're going to see if we can get this thing turned. And I was trying to get Mason to take it down to Mays Landing first. I mean, any course to tell if the boat can turn better, Mays Landing. He'd find out, but
he said put it on the trailer.
Tommy Thompson tried that one year,
right?
Straight from the race course to the trailer. It didn't work out.
Don't need a crane.
But yeah, folks, that's it for episode 20. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow, do all those good things, and stay tuned for our next week's episode, and enjoy the show in Bahormah.
See y'all next week.